How's it going, viewers? Welcome back to another video for the second time in one day because I am that good to you. I know, right? Tell me about it. I'm absolutely amazing. I think if you remember back to, what would it have been, maybe about 2 or so months ago, or maybe even 3 actually, where I did a video where I tried to commentate one of my official races I did on iRacing. It was the F4s at Indianapolis. We're going to do the same thing again. This is a TCR race I did from 4 days ago in the rain at Interlagos. I started 4th, I finished 3rd, but we're going to try commentate it, or I'm going to try and commentate it for the first time. I haven't really watched this back apart from to have a look at one incident, so I'm kind of going into this a little blind, but we'll see how we do. And I'm going to go face camless so I can have the overlay on here. So it's going to be a rare face camless video for once. But hopefully you'll enjoy. Okay, here we are for 20 minutes of Interlagos here in the TCRs with a little bit of rain falling. It's going to be a tricky start. The lights are on, are ahead of the drivers, but it is lights out and away we go. They were not held at all, but it's Stewart who gets a good start from Kramer. He's going to hold his line down into turn 1. Sinner is not even getting off the line. That is going to be an atrocious start for him, but down into turn 1, it is Stewart who leads from Kramer, from Pease, from Biuz, and then Sinner as they file through turn 2 and 3, but it is a good start from Stewart, who leads us away. He's going to have absolutely no challenge as we head down the back straight towards turn 4, but they're all off the road, going off the road. P1, 2 and 3 getting on the grass. There's going to be no grip out there. You can see Senna moving around in the background to try and get some visibility. Down into turn 4, it is still Stewart who has a healthy lead over Kramer, and that is going to set him up nicely for the rest of this first lap. But here we are at the end of lap 1. You can see everybody getting out of shape on those curbs, going into Junsao. Out of the corner we go, and Pease in P3 is going to have a lot of defending to do from Biuz in the yellow Elantra behind. We can see as we round the final banking onto the main straight. But if anything, it looks like Sinner is going to be the one to have a look up the inside down into turn 1. What can he do? He's going to tuck into the slipstream. He won't be able to see anything from behind that Elantra, but he's going to have a look. No, he backs out of it, but no, looks like it is actually Biuz going down the inside on Pease. That is an audacious move from downtown. He's not going to make it stick, but Pease is going to go wide into turn 2, and this is going to allow Biuz to rise round the outside at Curva de Sol, turn 3. There will be a lot of grip out there if he can make it stick, but no, up on the curb, he's going to lose that a bit of time. He's going to be wheel spinning all over the place on that exit curb. Sinner under pressure from the Audi LMS behind him. Down into turn 4, it's going to be Pease who keeps the position briefly, but how long can he hold on to it? On the exit of the corner, he got a little bit squirrely. It's going to allow Biuz right under the nose, or under the rear I should say, of the car in front. Is in towards the right-hander. He's all over the grass trying to get past. That is not going to be ideal, but Pease goes wide. That is going to allow the Elantra to tuck underneath the Honda down into the right-hander. Is he going to be able to make that move stick? Pease holds around the outside on the grippier line. They nearly make contact down into turn 4, but that is going to be survived for Pease as through getting very oversteery there. But look at this, Sinner on that wider line is going to have a look around the outside. He's going to get that run. The Elantra on the curb, and oh no, they make contact. They've made contact. There goes the front bumper. That is Sinner damaged, and the Elantra damaged as well, and that is not going to be good for the rest of this race. Can they keep it on the island? Just about, but that damage, God knows what it's done to the performance of that car. The Audi is going to slip by now on Biuz as well as they go through Junsao, but out of all of that whole altercation, it's going to be Sinner who gains a place. Granted, with damage, it's Pease who runs away now with P3, and then Elantra is going to be the one who loses out the most. But here we go onto lap 3, and we can see Pease having a move at Kramer. The P2 and P1 cars were running away at the beginning of the race. This is all going to change. Pease down the inside on the P2 man Kramer, and that is going to be a nice and textbook move up the inside into turn 1. He's going to pick up a position into second place. We can see the leader running away with it, but no, he's going to get loose coming out of turn 3. This is going to allow Kramer to have a look in the slipstream down towards turn 4. He pulls out to the inside. He's going to be alongside as we head down into turn 4. Is he going to get there? Pease goes wide to defend the position. He gives him a lot of respect. On the exit, we can see Sinner and Bius having a battle in the background. What is going to be the outcome of that? But no, Pease is going to hold off the threat from Kramer behind, and he's going to maintain that P2 for the time being. And we can see Sinner and Bius going too wide down into the right-hander. That is going to be incredibly close. Is Sinner going to be able to pick up a move? No, he is not. He's going to be forced to tuck in behind the Elantra for just that little bit longer, but he is going to be desperate to get past as they both take the wide line through the left-hander. That is where you want to be in these tricky conditions, these wet conditions. That wide line is exactly where you want to be. But out of all of this so far, the Elantra is now catching up with Kramer in the new LMS Audi, a car which has been looking quite composed so far. He goes a little wide down into Junsao, and so does Sinner, but it is going to allow the Elantra to get a little bit closer. But moving on to lap 4, we can cut back to the leader, Mr. Dylan Stewart, who has been leading away from the rest of the field so far. He's already eked out a 4-second gap over the car behind, which is Sam Blease, down into turn 4, and all he has to do now, with 15 minutes in, all he needs to do is keep composed, not make any errors, and he should be able to run away with this race. We can see a lapped car up in front. That is going to be cause of concern for the leader if he can just make a clean move. You can see him taking that dry line through the right hander. That is going to gain him a lot of time. Here is the Elantra to lap. Is he going to be able to tuck underneath? Oh, they do make contact. A little bit of netcode there between the two cars, and they make a little bit of contact, but it looks like our race leader is going to survive for the time being, and he is going to get away as, nearly making contact in the background. Sam Blease and the lapped car. Here come the rest, as the Elantra has managed to pass Michael Kramer in the LMS Audi. The Kramer is going to get past as well, so does Sinner, but that lap car caused a lot of issues for our top 6 as they rise down towards Junsao as well. Kramer goes wide. He's going to go wide, and that is going to open the door for Sinner with no bumper, mind you. Still travelling around with damage, but still putting in a strong performance to possibly get a podium. As up towards the main straight we go. Is Sinner going to be able to pick up a move? He's going to have the slipstream. Is that damage going to hamper him though? We're going to find out. He's using less of that white line as we head in towards turn 1. This is going to be a brave move if he's going to pull it off. Is he going to have a look? No, he's going to think about it, but in the end he's going to back out of that move and just stay behind the Audi for just a little bit longer. But down in towards turn 3, and we've got Pease, we've got Blease off the road, and so does Bius. This is going to allow Kramer back through. That is a huge moment in this race. What is Sinner going to do? He's going to have a look. Kramer gets past the Audi behind, is going to sit there and bide his time. But there was a huge crash down at turn 2 there. Blease in the wall. That is going to be his race over. There's going to be no chance of podium now, as the Elantra and the Audi going side by side through the left-hander. Who is going to come out on top in this battle? Is it going to be Kramer who capitalizes on the mistake? And it is going to be that, as Sinner tries to have a look around the outside, and this is going to be it. This could be a move for a podium position for Sinner. He goes around the outside of the Elantra down into the right-hander. Is he going to pick up that move? He is. He's going to get into the left-hander. He's going to have the inside line. He drives out to the dry line, and that is a brilliant move up the inside with no bumper. Here comes the Elantra back at him. Is he going to have a look? He needs to defend it hard, and a little bit of contact is made going into the right-hander, but he's going to pick up that move, and that is going to be a great demonstration of wet weather driving. However, returning back to the start of lap 6, we're going to see what happened to Sam Blease. Down into turn 1, all looks correct. On the curb a little bit, he gets sideways, and no, he lights up the throttle. That is absolutely gutting. Riding on board now, he gets close to that curb on the inside. He's going to clip it, and he gets a little bit out of shape, but then just plants the throttle. And as soon as you get on that throttle, like he has done, the only place you are going to find is that barrier. But Sam Blease out of the race, and it leaves the top 4 to duke it out for that second place spot. But here we go, returning to lap 7 now. We've got the Elantra of Biege under pressure from Lucas Kent the Dane, who has so far in this race just been biding has been biding his time and not been making too many moves. He is going to have a brief look on the inside into the left-hander there on the Elantra, nothing doing. Is he going to get a switchback and a better exit as we head down the hill? It's going to be very close between the two. Can he pull off a move into Junsao? This is a great passing opportunity. We saw it with Lewis Hamilton on Timo Glock in 2008. But the Elantra goes wide. That is going to open up the door for Kent as he's going to slide his way up the inside. And it's going to pick up a better exit as we head down the mountain and up towards turn 1. Is he going to pick up that move? They're side by side as we see Kramer driving off in the distance. Still side by side as we get to the pit lane entry. Neither car is eking out an advantage at the moment, but as we get to turn 1, it's going to be up to whoever is later on the brakes to pull off this move. Oh, they've made contact down into turn 1, a little bit of door banging, and that was very close to a big accident. But no, it is going to be Lucas Kent in the Audi LMS Gen 2 who picks up the position on the Elantra, and he is going to now drive away as, whoa, getting on the curb a little bit onto the grass. Just as I said he was going to drive away, that is not going to happen anymore. That was catastrophic for the Dane. As down the inside goes the Elantra. Is he going to make contact? No, but he is not going to pick up that position either. He's going to aquaplane out on the puddle, and that is not going to provide him with a passing opportunity down into turn 4. But returning back to our podium places at the moment, this is Kramer with Sinner still with no bumper, just behind him, with a lot of pressure, having to keep the Hyundai behind. But down into Junsao, is there going to be any mistakes? It doesn't look like it. Oh no, just as I said that, no, Kramer is going to leave the road. That is going to promote Sinner into second place. The LMS of Kent coming up behind, but that has promoted the bumperless Hyundai into a second place position. Kramer is going to lose that and drop back down to 5th place. But now, with only 3 laps to go in this race, can Sinner hold on to a second place position with Lucas Kent coming up from behind? He is much quicker at the moment. Sinner on the last lap with a 151. Kent with a 150.2. So that Audi travelling a lot quicker at the moment, but can Sinner keep him behind? But here we go, coming on to lap 10 of 11. We've got 2 laps to go in this race. Lucas Kent is going to have a small look on the inside at Sinner as they head through turn 1 and 2. This is the battle for P2. We have the P1 car 15 seconds ahead now. He has pulled out an amazing gap over the rest of the grid. But down the Retroposta now, we can see Kent versus Sinner, who is going to come out on top in this battle. We've got 2 laps to go in this race, as we've got Kramer going off in the background. That is not going to be good for him. Down into turn 4, who is going to keep the position? Sinner stays in front just for the time being. Kent was not close enough to make that move, but they take the wet line as they head up towards the right hander. This is where we've seen plenty of battles in this race so far. It was Sinner who made an outside move on lap 2. Is he going to be able to defend as down to the right-hander? He was a bit slow, but here comes Kent. Kent goes up the inside. He's going to have a look. Sinner has turned in. Oh, they're going to make contact. Oh, that's the last thing they needed to do. Sinner is going to keep the car on the road. He is not happy with that move, but throttling up, he is going to keep the car just about on the island. Who was at fault? I'm not entirely sure. It looked like Kent was very late into the corner, but Sinner did turn in all the way, but it is going to promote Kent to a second place position. Sinner is going to get demoted to 3rd, but as long as he can hold off the cars of Kramer and Biege behind, he should be able to keep it on the podium and pick up a whole load of I-rating. But here we go, going through the final corner on this final lap. The rest of the race did not provide any more battling, but it is this man, Dylan Stewart, who has led from start to finish in the Audi LMS Gen 2. It has been a brilliant drive, a textbook drive on how to race in the wet. But coming up to the line now for the victory, it is going to be Dylan Stewart who wins the race. A little wiggle across the line in his Audi. A fantastic drive there, jumping back to the rest of the cars. That is a lap car. Here we have Luke Kent, who's going to come up to to the line after biding his time in the early parts of this race, is going to pick up a second place finish. There he goes across the line, and our P3 man Thomas Sinner, who with no front bumper from contact on lap 2, is going to finish P3 in this race. A fantastic drive there to pick up a podium. Dave Kraber finishes in 4th place from P2 on the grid, but it is Dylan Stewart, your race winner.